Okay, so this next one is a little bit of a downer, but.
We're going to make it through. Here we go. We're ready.
I also have ulterior motives for this.
Oh.
This is kind of like an episode about like raise awareness and advocacy.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it. And I don't know why I'm doing this weird dance if you're watching on YouTube. I didn't realize it as I was like finding these stories, but they're in the folder. And now I'm like, okay. It's here and it's happening for a reason.
Advocate. Let's be positive lights in this universe. Here we go.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
So this one is from Relationship Advice, and it is titled, I, 45 male, have stage 4 colorectal cancer, and I will be dead in 5 years.
Shoot.
My partner, 37 female, wants to have a baby with me.
Okay.
Buckle up, everyone. Sorry. Last month, I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. The prognosis was not good, and there have already been signs of spread to the rest of the body. I'll be dead within 5 years. The doctor said it'll most likely be sooner, given the status of the progression. We're going to try fighting it, but the chances of survival are slim, given the spread. I've been with my partner for 11 years now. We met at the library as I was doing my master's in behavioral psychology, and she was completing her undergrad in environmental science. I still remember the first time I saw her with her finger pressed so hard against a textbook as if it was going to fly away. We've talked about kids and marriage in the past, and it wasn't something either of us were interested in. We discussed it a few times, and she always said she would prefer to backpack across Vietnam, which we did, than raise a baby. It has been such an honor to be with her. After the diagnosis, we took our separate ways of grieving. She poured into her contacts and ways to fight this. Apparently, there's some magical Australian berry I have to start taking next week. I've come to accept it, and I will contact my lawyer soon to get my affairs in order. And here is my conundrum. She approached me a few nights ago, sat me down, and told me she wants to marry me and have a child or two with me. I was, of course, blindsided. Having a wedding or a child is the least of my priorities or wants at the moment because, well, I'm dying. She was adamant if this is the last thing I do for her, let it be this. She told me that it's only at the end of things that she realizes what's important to her. She told me she wants concrete things to remember me by, and being able to see my face in our child, as well as a wedding ring, which she said she'd wear even after my secession, is what she needs. I am concerned, and I voiced my concerns, which provoked tears. I told her that she has no family here. Her only family was a mother who passed away when she was 20. I told her her career is flourishing, and she has her passion in environmental monitoring. Being a single mother will be a huge impact on her. If I was going to be alive to help her, I'd be more amenable, but I won't. The discussion didn't end well. I'm lost on what to do. On one hand, I could go through with all of it and give her the family she wants, but I know her struggle will be immense. But on another hand, if she has a child, she may not be all alone after I die. What do you think? Please give me perspective. She will get everything when I die. Our net worth combined is estimated to be $1.5 million, so she won't be in want of money. I warned you it was heavy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really sorry. I almost cried multiple times during this reading.
What a hard situation. What a heartbreaking, hard situation. I don't think anybody is going to have the wisdom to really tell them what to do. I think honestly, this is something that they just need to come to an agreement and talk it over and come and do the self introspection and figure out what is best for them in their situation. Yep, money's not an issue. Great. That's wonderful. At this point, she wants somebody or something that is she wants to make a family with him. Mm-hmm. I totally understand that. I love that my kids are, my genes and Matt's genes, like it's not lost on me that if anything were to happen and one of us were to not be here, like that's an amazing comfort.
Mm-hmm.
If she's going to be a single mom, absolutely, that will be really, really hard. Are there single moms that do that every day and make that choice? 100% absolutely. And are those kids still a blessing? 100% absolutely. I don't feel like I can say, yep, have kids, or nope, don't have kids.
I know.
It's just a really, really hard position to be in. And I'm really, really sad and heartbroken for them that this is their position that they're going to be in. I would say just do everything that you can to make the most of the time that you have. I mean, ultimately in our lives, all we have is time.
Yeah.
So
Time is the only non-renewable resource.
yeah.
You can get more money.
Yep. So finding out what's important to you and what's important to your partner, I think having a lot more discussions, a lot more talks about this and coming to an agreement between the two of you, I think that's going to be what you need to do. Because
Yeah.
I think different people are going to come to different conclusions. Some people might be like, yep, absolutely. We're going to have a baby tomorrow, and that's going to be the absolute best case scenario that we're going to do.
Mhm.
And we're going to enjoy that baby as long as we can while the time that we have on this earth. And that is wonderful and beautiful. And other people are going to say, nope, it's going to like really be more painful than it is going to be something that's going to be helpful. And that's also okay.
Yeah.
Either way is okay.
Yeah. There's
So
no,
I think this is a really, really hard position. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think anyone could tell any other person in this situation like a true right or wrong answer. Life is just hard and unfair for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
turbulent and crazy and happy and sad. I mean, it's fucking life. Like,
all
should be the
those
definition
things.
in it.
It's
Yeah,
all
it's
those things.
everything. And so I think, whatever decision gets made, it's hard because, yeah, your wife could have a little you and you could get to experience this joy of being a dad, a parent, and, for however long you have, you get to experience it. But again, if you rapidly decline and you have a newborn and you also need a caregiver, it could be a
gonna
lot.
Really hard.
It could be a lot. But then again, your wife could have a child to remember you by, and just like that
See your
amazing
traits
joy of being a parent.
and- yeah.
But then again, that child grows up not knowing their dad. And so, I mean, you could argue this back and forth until the cows come home. It just, there's no winning this situation truly, because OP is going to be gone if a miracle doesn't occur. And, depending on where it's spread and how things are, like, yeah, stage 4 is fucking stage 4. And I did, despite this being really heavy, I did bring this one up because my mom is with someone. She has been for years and years and years.
Mhm.
And he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And it spread to his lungs and other areas. And it's terminal. And they're fighting this clock. They
Right.
had these big hopes and dreams. They wanted to get married in Italy before he was even diagnosed.
Yeah.
And then he was diagnosed. And so it's kind of like this one, everyone should live life to the fullest. If there's something
Mhm.
you've been like waiting for the perfect moment for, been saving up for, whatever, like try to do it. Like let 2023 be the year of doing. Don't
I like
wait.
that. Yes.
Don't fucking wait. Like life is too short and unpredictable. No matter how secure you feel and how much time you think you have. And the other thing is, like, I really, really, really want to see colonoscopies and cancer screenings, especially for men. I think there's going to be a big shift in that age. I think the age is going to start coming down. I look at this person, they're 45. And I look at like big people we know, like Chadwick Boseman,
Yeah.
our beloved Black Panther, colon cancer. And
So-
Ryan Reynolds, one.
Okay,
And Ryan Reynolds,
going.
Ryan Reynolds like made a bet with like one of his co-stars, both young, healthy dudes. Both of them made this agreement like, hey, if you learn Welsh, I'll get a colonoscopy. Both of them ended up going in, getting colonoscopies and having like an abundance of polyps they needed removed, like all this shit. And it's like, they're young, healthy guys. They're like, I'm a full believer in like this age needs to be lowered, especially if you have risk factors on either side of your family.
So I'm a family practice PA.
I know.
So I have this conversation on the daily,
Mm-hmm.
and I bring this up a lot. And so it used to be that the recommendations for colon cancer screening were starting at age 50, that everybody should get a colonoscopy. And here's my spiel. Okay. So the best thing about colonoscopies is that it's the one screening test that we can actually prevent cancer by doing it. Because if they go in there and they see a polyp, they can remove it before it's cancer and prevent it from becoming a cancer. The average time that it takes a polyp from being a polyp to turning into a cancer is 10 years. That's why if you have a completely clean colonoscopy, the next colonoscopy that you will need is 10 years later. Okay? So if you have a colonoscopy and you have polyps removed, your recommendations may be different. It may be that you need a colonoscopy in 3 years or in 5 years. But generally, it's dependent on the pathology of that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the only screening test that we have that actually prevents cancer.
Everyone should be doing it.
So this past year, and I don't know if it's common knowledge yet, but I literally, when I have my patients come in for their yearly complete physicals starting at 18, 19, 20, I'm like, okay, your mammograms, if you don't have family history of breast cancer, they're going to start at age 40. And your colonoscopies now are going to start at age 45. It used to be age 50. That age recommendation has dropped from age 50 down to 45 because we are seeing more and more young people developing colon cancer than before. And we don't know why. There's a lot of looking into that and investigation, but we don't have any specific medical evidence that is exactly pointing to the reason why. So your
It's
insurance,
our fucking food.
so your insurance should cover colonoscopies, screening colonoscopies for colon cancer starting at age 45. I know I'm going to be signing up for a colonoscopy at age 45. I know it's invasive. It's absolutely invasive, right?
Yeah, a little camera gets shoved up your ass.
You're not used to
invasive.
that.
No,
You're not used to
it's
that.
a lot for a lot of
You
people.
are medicated. You are not going to be awake and like fully aware of all of this happening.
Light anesthesia.
You're not fully put out. You're not, but you're also going to be very, very, very comfortable. Okay. We don't do this procedure in a way that is not comfortable. It is a life-saving procedure. If you are 45 or older and you've never had a colonoscopy, please talk to your primary care provider. It should be covered by your insurance because it's a
Get one, you guys.
it's a preventative healthcare measure. So, yep, absolutely. Get your colonoscopies, especially if you have signs or symptoms of colon cancer, which are rectal bleeding, bloating, black tarry stools. If you're consistently having those symptoms, you absolutely need to go in and have that colonoscopy even sooner. Even if you're not having, you're not meeting the age requirements of 45, just go in and talk to your medical provider.
Yeah. And if it makes you feel any better, if you're scared about a colonoscopy, Justin's got a friend that has Crohn's, and so he has to get them regularly.
Yeah.
And he does his awake. And he has a chill time with it. So if he can do it awake, I think you can do it, sedated. It'll be good. You got this.
Hold on, though. Let's do a little bit more education
Okay.
because we are on our soapbox. Here's my soapbox. Okay, so colonoscopies are not the only screening method available if you want to screen for colon cancer because colon cancer,
Can't you poop in a box?
Let Morgan and I be your witness. It's not a fun cancer to have.
No.
It's painful.
It is probably one of the worst ones I've seen.
It's really not a good colon cancer to have. I feel personally for anybody who's had a rectal colon cancer, it's not fun.
No cancer is fun, but like from what I've seen on this one,
don't wait. Meet your screening requirements. However, if you are like, absolutely, Amy, Morgan, there is no way in hell that you're going to convince me to have a colonoscopy because that is just way too invasive. I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect it. There are other options. The next best option, as far as that I am aware of, is a Cologuard test.
Poop in a box.
So this is a test that is mailed to you. You can request this from your primary care provider, and they test for the DNA of colon cancer. And it's pretty sensitive. It's
actually, the results are pretty good with it.
Yep. So it's not going to do anything to prevent colon cancer for you like a colonoscopy would, but it is going to screen for colon cancer.
Which is better than nothing.
And if that is positive, then the next step would be a colonoscopy, okay? But if that's positive, then you really, really should get a colonoscopy. There are multiple options that you can do to screen for colon cancer. Please protect your health. Please get checked out. Screening is now happening at age 45. Don't wait until you're 50.
And honestly, this dude was 45.
I know.
And like, I'm just like, I think we're going to see a push. And this is like the standard now. Like, I'm so thankful it's been lowered to 45.
Yeah.
And I personally think there's going to be an even lower on that. But
it may. We're always following
we'll see.
Evidence in medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes. If you're having symptoms, though.
Yeah, especially.
If you're having blood in your stool, if you're having black tarry stools, if you're having abdominal bloating, if you're having things that just aren't right and you know it, go in, see your medical provider, get checked out.
Absolutely. And I mean, so I'm on, it's an article from the University of Texas, MD Anderson Cancer Center. And so it's like, what do young adults need to know about colorectal cancer? And there's a quote by Dr. Nancy Yu, and it goes, if the current trends continue, by 2030, colon cancer cases are projected to increase by 90% in patients under age 35.
Isn't that scary?
35? And you, what?
Right.
And like, granted, okay, maybe 90% increase isn't a huge number, but like,
well, it seems big.
It could be a fear stat, but like, seriously, like, just be in control of your health. Like, if this episode has kind of shown anything, like, always be in control of your health, because your health and your time and like.
Well, I'm a firm believer that you know your body best. And so be an advocate for yourself. If you're feeling dismissed, if you're not feeling heard, find someone else who will listen and will hear you.
Absolutely. So we do have an update on this one.
All right, tell me.
We have an update. So update, I, 45 male, have been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer and will be dead in 5 years. My partner, 37 female, is asking for marriage and a baby. Please help. Oh, I got to back it up. Sorry. Before I get to the update, there are some amazing comments on the original post that I do want to read for anyone who may be in the similar situation or dealing with cancer in general. And we did have a story on Father Knows Something, and it was a write-in from someone dealing with cancer, terminal, and still wanting to date. And there were a bunch of people that recommended a podcast.
I remember that. Yeah.
I know. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm blanking. And I'm like, literally, I'm like panic Googling. And so it is a podcast called Dying for Sex. And it's when host Nikki Boyer's best friend Molly is diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She decides to do something bold, leaves an unhappy marriage. And like, it's just the whole journey. And so people recommended that podcast. But I did see some comments on this one that I was like, that is really, like, that's really great. And I think we should take into consideration. And so the top comment on the original post is, you should read, quote, When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, a doctor who was in a very similar position to you. It details a very similar conversation between himself and his wife. You might find it helpful. I'm very sorry for your diagnosis and wish you weren't having to face this at all. Next,
So hard.
like, just there's no words for OP and what they're going through. And the next comment is, you might find some more food for thought in this episode of the podcast. Quote, terrible. Thanks for asking. At around the 29-minute mark, the host does an interview with Paul Kalanithe's widow, Dr. Lucy Kalanithi, digging into her grief and her experience of being a single mother since the death of her husband. It's a thoughtful and well-done interview, and I suspect it will give you a lot to think about in terms of your own situation and that of your wife. And the specific episode for that podcast, when I click the link, it is Happy-ish Holidays. It's an older episode from December of 2016, but I'm sure based on the post, it's good.
It's still relevant.
Okay, for the update now.
Whew, okay,
I know,
update.
sorry guys. I remember seeing those comments. I'm like, I gotta get them out there.
Update.
Thank you for all of the responses. Please know that I read through all of them and replied to a few. I took all of your views into consideration, and I appreciate the time and energy you all placed into your replies. I believe the general consensus was that I shouldn't have a baby, or that if I did, I should freeze the sperm and have her do as she wishes at a later point. Well, we cooled off, and I had a talk with her last night. We talked at length about the baby matter, and I had a strong discussion with her about the autonomy of the child, the ramifications of using a child as a grieving mechanism, and the effects of the child on her career. She hit the career point first and roughly laid out financial and practical plans to continue the course of her career while employing an au pair. I pointed out the possible bonding issues, but she said she would deal with that as it came. So that's the career point sorted. On the child front, she said that she understands my concerns, but she is still adamant that the child or children will be genetically split between the two of us. As such, there will be remnants of us residing within them. She was honestly quite offended and reminded me that we're both scientists here. We know how babies are made, and we know how children are human beings who need their own autonomy. She told me that it is undeniable that when she hugs them at night or eats with them, there will be glimpses of me every now and again through them, and that's enough for her. That was the gist of the conversation. She asked how I felt. I told her I was nervous about the entire thing because kids are a lot of work. I also opened up and told her that I was concerned she may be going through a period of acute psychosis, not at all irregular, and I very easily misinterpret as rational. As such, I told her we should go to couples grief counseling for a minimum of 2 months.
Yeah.
If at the end of it, she still wants a baby, I'll do it. She didn't argue, and we made up and had a nice evening. I've started recording birthday videos and writing letters to my possible future children, just in case.
I love it.
This subforum doesn't let me update again, so this is it. You won't hear from me again. Thank you for your time. Please live a kind life. Edit, to those of you telling me to not give up hope about my survival, the cancer has spread to a number of different major organs and progressed within them, one of which is the pancreas, which at this stage is incurable. Another is my brain. I will be dying within the next few years. Thank you for your concerns, though. I appreciate the intent.
Wow. I think that they are such a strong couple.
I know.
Like, can I just cry over here for a minute?
It fucking sucks.
It fucking sucks.
There's no fucking, there's no happy ending for this one. I mean, there was the hope, like in the original post, like don't give up hope, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And OP, like what an amazing, strong person. I just can't even imagine.
Again, I think there's no right or wrong answer. I think it's, yep, go to a therapist, think about things, work through things, give it a couple months. And yeah, if that's what you want to do, go for it. If you feel like you want to have a baby, absolutely do it. If you feel like that's going to be really hard and painful and not going to add, don't I
No.
don't think there's a right or wrong answer here.
No, there's really not. I think they're on the right track. Grief counseling, like anyone dealing with a difficult situation like this, counseling, personal, couples, if you're in a relationship, I think we're not equipped to naturally be able to deal with these major catastrophic life events. We need tools. We need help sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's totally okay to reach out for help. But I think they're on the right track, and
It sounds like they love
cancer.
each other so much.
They do.
It sounds like they have such a wonderful relationship. I'm so
Yes.
happy that they have like that love and that support for each other to help them through this really hard, really tough situation.
Beautiful. I mean, beautiful couple. I think in the initial post, he said, like, it is an honor to have loved her,
Like,
or
honestly,
whatever he said. Like,
can someone say that about me, please?
I'm sure Matt does.
I know. I think he does. He's so sweet.
but oh God, I feel for them, and OP is still posting. I'll remember to try to post. I'll try to remember, I should say, to post the links for all these stories. But OP has been posting on other accounts as recent as 22 days ago. We're posting to commenting on other people's
I hope in the
posts.
best. I hope for a miracle for them. I hope
I know.
all the wonderful good things that
I
they
do
can
too.
have.
I really do too.
Yeah.
I don't see any other comments on the update. And it's kind of annoying that people are like, I don't think you should have a kid, because that's really not your decision to make. I think but again, it's Reddit. People come here for takes and insight.
Yeah.
And this is a tough one.